What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a little review on some different software. So recently, a couple weeks ago, I got emailed by some of the people at Dehancer, which is a plug-in software company for, they do DaVinci, they do Final Cut, but they also have Photoshop, Lightroom, After Effects, Premiere Pro, and they also have an app on the App Store, and I'm assuming it's also on the Android or Google Play Store. So let's go check out their website first real quick. And so right here, let's go to the main page. So when you go to the website, you'll see how many times, it's almost 364,000 times it's been downloaded, and it'll show you different features and stuff they have available for the video. You can get in more depth of, there's 63 film profiles to use, and there's different packages: 3 months, 6 months, a year, or lifetime subscription. You got Adobe After Effects and Premiere and Final Cut Pro. For the photos, you got Photoshop, Lightroom, and there's some other options as well. So let's just dive into it real quick. Let's open up Lightroom, and I was playing around with it before. So this was an image I did before, which is pretty cool. I used CineStill 800T, and you can also see that in the image, the halation and the bloom is manipulated just like it would be in real life if you were to get your CineStill 800T developed, which is pretty sweet. So actually I can go grab, so got my CineStill 800T right here, got some Kodak Gold, and they have some film presets to use for that. So let's go play around with some images from the last POV I did. So let's just start with this one. And once you got everything installed to your computer and plugged into your Lightroom, you're going to just right click on the image, edit, and then edit in Dehancer. And once that opens up, I'm just going to make it full screen so you guys can see it better. And you got presets, which are presets that are created by the team of Dehancer, and they're all the people that work there that created their own presets that have been manipulated with certain different film stocks. And then profiles, just straight up film stocks, so you can kind of go from there. So for the first one, let's just do CineStill 800T because I was talking about it before. And on the left hand side, like I said, you can check out all of those different film stocks. They have a crap ton of Kodak, Fujifilm, Lomo. They also have Ilford. It's pretty cool. They have Agfa. They got a lot of different cool film stocks here, which are all the popular ones that you would see. So we got CineStill 800T set up, and on the right hand side here, you'll have all your settings, and you can choose which ones to have on and off. I mean, source is just for some exposure compensation. Right there, I just try to do Command Z. The one thing that I have a problem with this software for the Lightroom plugin is that there is no shortcut keys. You cannot use any shortcut commands, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass for me in my workflow. I mean, there's a back button here so you can change stuff, but I like to keep my hands here and just using the keyboard for shortcuts. So that's the one thing that I'm one gripe so far with this, but I appreciate Dehancer reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to test out their product. And it's not paid in any way. They just wanted me to give an unbiased view of this software, which is pretty cool because they told me, like, you can say whatever you want. You don't have to show us the video before you post it. We just want to learn and figure out what things we could do better with our software. So far, I really do enjoy what they got going on here, especially for someone who loves film. This is a great way to get your digital images to get looking into that, or to look like that kind of style, which is pretty sweet. especially if you shoot film and you also want to do some digital work and emulate those different kind of styles and photo stocks. Honestly, I think the film stuff for video is really cool, because then you can match up your video for your YouTube just like your film photography, which is pretty sick. We'll get into that a little bit later. But let's just get back at the task at hand. So Cinestill 800T, and before we start doing some stuff and some basic corrections on the right hand side, if you go to the left hand side right here, you can click the profiles right here, or you can just see what they look like, and then you can push or pull the film, which is pretty sweet. So what push and pull means is that if you want, so for Cinestill 800T, right, 800 is the ISO. So when you put it into your film camera and select your ISO, you want it to match the native ISO for the film stock. So 800 would be your native ISO. But if you want to push your film and shoot one stop higher, so you allow the camera to know that you're going to be shooting at an ISO of 1000 or 1600, then you can push the film even further. And you're going to have to learn how to compensate for the exposure, because now the film is going to break down a little bit after it's pushed past that limit of 800. So you could do some research on that. I personally haven't done it yet, but I would like to get into that a little bit more down the road. But I just started using film less than a year ago. Not even. Just the beginning of this year. And so here you can kind of do that without, obviously bringing your film to get processed. I use the darkroom in California, their lab, to get all my film processed. But this is a way to kind of emulate that whole entire process just using their software. So let's push it one stop, and you can see it's going to change that there. I like the film, the exposure compensation. I like the temperature comp. That's all good with me. So film developer, you're going to be able to change the contrast boost, like gamma correction, but we don't really need to play around with that right now. Print is for different types of paper. Color head's going to be changing your different colors, yellows and blues, magentas and greens, cyan and red. Your shadow tones, if you want to lighten or darken that up. I think going a little bit more on that green side is kind of cool, more my style. You can change the film grain, which is pretty awesome. In Lightroom, you can only do the size, the amount of the grain, basically. And this one, you can do size, amount, resolution, shadows, midtones, highlights, color. All of that is at your fingertips, which is pretty sweet. But my personal favorite thing about this is the halation and the bloom. So with halation, you're going to be able to achieve that type of style that film gives you that you wouldn't be able to in Lightroom, which is pretty sick. So halation is when you get those kind of imperfections around the highlights. So it's Cinestill. It's a repurposed film stock that comes from like a movie films or an old movie film stock, right? Which gives it that cool retro look. But they took the remjet layer off the back of it, and that is going to affect how the color is perceived through light. So when the light comes through the lens, reflects off the back of the mirror in your camera onto your film to actually, burn the image on the film, there's all those different colors. You got to, red, yellow, blue are going to get affected. When they take that red layer off, now your highlights are going to get affected in a red color way, in a red color halation, basically is what they call it. So now you're going to see in these highlights some red that's popping through, and that is honestly pretty incredible that they can emulate that, because it is very accurate to what it looks like in real life. I'm going to pop up a picture right now that I took with Cinestill 800T that I took in Philadelphia, and you can see how the halation looks. It's pretty remarkable how identical they got it on this. So being able to add the halation is really, really cool. And you can, diffuse it, local diffusion, global diffusion, change the hue, amplify if you want it to be brighter. This picture already has some red lights in it, so it's a little bit harder to see, but you can see in the car over here on the right side, it's popping. All those little highlights, you got this red little glow. The next thing is bloom. And bloom is like a built-in mist filter, so you don't have to have a mist filter on to achieve those kind of etheric or ethereum, I forget exactly what that like mystical overall image look is. But you can achieve that with this software, which I think is pretty cool. So you can change the highlights, diffusion, amplify, and once you're done, we're going to do a couple more images, but once you're done, you just click OK up top, and it's going to open it automatically in Lightroom. So, like I said before, you can't use any shortcut keys in Dehancer, which is opened up over here. Actually, once you click OK, you're done with that, but I'll show you guys some other features that it has. But let's zoom in since we're on Lightroom here. And now you can kind of see, like, up in the corner here, all those highlights have that red halation around it, which just looks so cool. I can't believe that they were able to achieve that. And those highlights coming off the chrome in the back of that pickup truck, you see the halation there. It's pretty sweet. So let's pick another image out. Let's do... let's see. Let's do this one of this guy right here. So, right click, edit in, Dehancer, boom. It's gonna open it up for us. Let's expand it so we got full screen. Let's go to profiles, and for this one, let's do like a Kodak. So, since I have Kodak Gold 200 here, let's do some Kodak Gold. So. Kodak down here, got Ektar 100, Ektar 25, Kodak Gold, Kodachrome, X-Pen, you got Portra 160, you got Portra 160 NC, 160 VC. These are some old school film stocks that they don't even make anymore, which is pretty cool. You got Portra 400, 800, Kodak Pro Image 100, Supra 100, Ultramax, Vision 3, 200T. I mean, they took care of everything. It is pretty crazy, and I'm loving it, especially because I like that film vibe look. I know it's a little bit more niche, and it's not exactly for everyone, but if you're looking for something like that, you can achieve all of that with this software, which is pretty cool. So let's get to Kodak Gold. We got that selected. Let's bring our exposure up slightly, and film developer is just going to change the contrast. We'll bring the contrast down a little bit. And we don't need to worry about print. Don't need expand. I'm not going to play around with the color head. Film grain, I like what it's at right now. So let's do some halation. And I mean, it is crazy how accurate they got it. It looks so good. And we could do some bloom. I mean, it's literally like having a mist filter on. It's pretty amazing. So, and I can't put a mist filter on my 14mm lens. So, the one I'm using right now to film this, because it's a fisheye. So, I'm unable to screw any lenses on. If I wanted to, I'd have to put one of those little cut filters in the back of the lens. So, this is a cool way to be able to achieve those effects without even doing it in real life. You just have it in post, and honestly in Lightroom you can't get it this accurate. So we got the bloom. I'm liking where it's looking right now. In the vignette, we can open that up, change the exposure of the vignette, you can feather it, size it, make it darker, lighter, which is pretty sweet. I mean, they took care of everything. So what I wanted to show you before is, if you go up here, you can see 1:1 to zoom in a little bit, which is nice. If you want to get rid of the histogram on the bottom, you can click this bar graph kind of symbol up top. And then for preview, you can see before and after. So that's before, after. And just to achieve those retro looks and those film stocks is pretty sweet. So we'll click OK. It's going to take us back into Lightroom. And now we have our image in Lightroom, so you can export it Do whatever you'd like with your image. Let's do another image before we head over to Premiere to check out some of their video capabilities. So I have that one picture of a motorcycle from last POV, so let me find that. I didn't really organize the pictures I wanted to use. I kind of just wanted to go off the cuff. So if you watched my last POV, I think you remember that towards the end of the video I took a picture of that Triumph motorcycle, and I think we can achieve some cool stuff with that. So here we got our image. Like I said before, right click, edit in. You got your plugin open. Let's get our Dehancer software open. And so I'm not playing with the presets as much, just because they're kind of finalized, and that's from some of the team members at Dehancer that created these presets. But we're gonna start from scratch, and let's just go down to, in black and white. We'll do one more image after this and do a black and white. So let's do Kodak Portra 400. All right. Let's get our exposure up a little bit. Let's go film grain. Let's make it a little more grainy. Give it that grit. Get the halation going. And what's really cool with the halation is that it's just so accurate. All of those chrome parts on, the reason why I wanted to use this motorcycle image is because on the chrome you're going to see those highlights, and you're going to be able to see what the software can really do. So the white painted lines on the road, those are going to be highlights. The chrome on the bike's going to be highlights. You're going to see the halation popping through. And we're going to smooth that out a little bit. Get some local diffusion, some global, which is overall in the image. And let's get our bloom going. And that's a little bit too much bloom. So let's get the highlights down. Source limiter. Bring the details. Diffusion, we're going to bring that down because, like I said, it was a little bit too much. I mean, right now it's like free. It's like if I had a half diffusion mist filter on right now. It's really popping. But just to show you guys what it can do, bring the saturation down a little bit. So before, after. Let's click OK. Yeah, we can zoom in on here. So all those chrome pieces, you see the halation, those red marks that come through. It's definitely a personal taste. Some people don't like using Cinestill because it creates those red halations because they got rid of that one layer in the film. But with Kodak, they don't have that, so you're not going to get any halations like that. If you get any halations, it's going to be more of a white color. That's more of a property for Cinestill. So, but you can see how accurate it is. I mean, all those little highlighted spots on the bike are just popping, and the bloom looks pretty sweet. So let's get another image going, and we'll do black and white. So I think there is just one reflection, water reflection image that would be pretty cool for that. So let's open that up. Not that, let's do this. Alright, so let me just get my everything aligned a little bit better, straighten that out. Boom. Right click, edit in. I know I keep saying that, but just to bring home the point of how you're supposed to use the software, how to get it open. So let's do a black and white. So let's do some Ilford. You got Ilford XP Super 400, you got HP Plus 400, which is like the most popular black and white film there is. Wait, I have a roll of it over there. So exposure's looking good. I'm not going to play around with that. Film compensation's fine. The white point's fine. We don't need to worry about print. Color head, we don't have any color. Obviously, if you start changing some colors in black and white, it's going to affect the black and white, yes. But let's pretend that we don't have that option since it is black and white. We got the film grain. we're gonna bring the film grain up a little bit to give it more of that retro look. And I'm not gonna play with the halation, but I'm gonna play with the bloom. So let's bring the highlights down, because it's a little bit of a brighter image than the other ones. And the saturation down. So before, after, obviously with the color it completely changes, but click OK. It's going to take us into Lightroom. You can zoom in and see what we got going on. But overall, my final points for the Lightroom aspect is that they did an excellent job with recreating those film stocks. I don't think that you can really find anything like this anywhere else. And I'm not being paid to say any of this. They literally just let me try it out for free, give me a free trial. And I think they did an excellent job, especially for someone who likes film or wants to get into a film style of look. And you can't really achieve all of this in Lightroom. So being able to have a little extra tool that will open up your styles and open up and broaden your horizons on what different things you can do, it's pretty sweet. So my only gripe and only problem with the software is that you can't do shortcut commands. I mean, you gotta have that workflow. And being someone who has a particular workflow and you know what you're doing, and for something to change that, it's a little bit frustrating, but it is not the end of the world. So let's just close Lightroom, alright? And now let's open up Premiere. So these are some videos, some short videos I took while I was in the city for that POV. Nothing crazy, just some simple little clips of people walking around. So to get your plugin to work for this, once you guys get it downloaded and installed and you download it to Premiere, you're going to go up to your effects panel up top here. Alright, and if you want to just search it, you just put Dehancer, and you're going to see film emulation. So you click Dehancer, you drag it down to the part of the video that you want to use, and once you go to the effects control panel on the right side, you'll have all these different things to look at. So you got input, film, film developer, film compression, expand, print, color head, film grain, halation, bloom, vignette, film breathe, gate weave, false color, output, LUT generator, and device. They thought of everything. I think out of all of the software that they have, the mobile one is really cool because you can just do quick edits on your phone, and also since you're doing some film pictures, you don't need the highest resolution, and you can just take pictures straight from your phone and play around with it there, which is pretty sweet. For Premiere, I mean, they thought of everything, and it is honestly amazing. They did such a good job. So, alright, so let's just dive into what we got going on in Premiere. So, when you go to the film, when you click the film section on your Dehancer effects, you can click your different profiles. So you got everything that you had before in the Lightroom plugin. So you got Vision 3, you got Vision 2, Ektar, all these different film profiles. I mean, Portrait looks sweet. And I know I have the watermark there. That's obviously just because it's a free trial. But let's just give it a little run. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna buffer because my Wi-Fi is absolute trash. But you can see that if you're trying to achieve like a Super 8 look or a different type of film style look for your videos, this is an awesome way to get that done. You can play with the halation. In the image, you can start with your You can set up some keyframes so you guys have some timing over there for that. If you want to, let's get rid of that. Film grain, you can change all the film grain. You got your size, amount, film resolution. And what's awesome with the keyframes is that you can change it up throughout the video. If you want some sections to have more film grain, you cut the next one to be a little more clear, you can do that. If you want some images to have elation, and you can all do that within one clip. You don't have to have that set up permanently or baked into that clip. You can just change it up as much as you want through the keyframes. And the bloom. I mean, to be able to have the mist filter option built into Premiere is so sweet. I mean, you don't have to worry about buying a mist filter. You're gonna have all that built in. Even if you don't want to use any of the film simulations, you literally could just use the bloom and have some mist filter feels to your video or image, which is pretty sweet. I mean, they thought of everything. It looks so good. Alright, so once you get your clip that you want picked out, you can go over here to the effects panel, and then you're going to be able to drag Dehancer down there. So let's just do another clip here. Oh, that didn't work. Boom. Obviously there's a watermark there. We don't have to worry about that right now. That's just for the free trial I got going on here. And then we go to our film on our left side here, or right side, sorry. And let's just do Kodak Gold, which is nice. And just for anyone that's trying to achieve a film look for their video, it's just a really cool tool to have. And right now my video is buffering like crazy because my Wi-Fi is absolute trash. But just so you guys get the point, bring in your videos, you have your clips set up, and like I said before, you drag it in there, it opens up on your right side on your effects controls, and you can just see everything you need to see in front of you. You got all the different tools you could use to really take your video to the next level, which is pretty awesome. And I think having the bloom and the halation built into that is sweet to really achieve like those film style looks. So now that we kind of went through Premiere, I didn't download the After Effects version. I'm assuming it's very close to the same. I don't really use After Effects, but with Premiere and how I edit all my YouTube videos, this is a pretty useful tool. I don't know if I would use it for POVs and stuff, but when I'm doing little side videos, which I would like to do more of, it's gonna be able to take that to the next level. And if I'm doing like a POV that's shot in with film, like I did in Chinatown a few months back, to have the GoPro footage look film-like would be really cool, especially if you're doing like a black and white roll of film. You want the film to look black so it would look exactly the same. I think that would be something cool to play around with. So they thought about everything. You got your film grain, change the color of the different film stocks that they have. So they just did an excellent job. I have no gripes with this. And they also have control keys available for this. So in Lightroom, like I said, they don't have the command control keys or shortcut keys available. In Premiere, they do. So that's, I give them a round of applause for that, which doesn't, impede on my workflow at all. So let's move on to the phone. Alright, so let me get my phone out here. So once you go to the App Store, you'll download the Dehancer app and it'll open up. Alright, so we got our app here. Open it up. And it's pretty cool because you're all your rolls of, or let me just take a step back. So when you open up, your camera roll is going to show up like on a 35mm roll of film, which is pretty sweet. What you're seeing right now is just all my posters that I've collect. I just took a inventory of all of them, so I have some recollection of what I have in storage. So let's just scroll over to some random picture, right? I got some edited from the POV. Let's click this one, open it up, and same thing before. You got your presets, your edits. It's all going to come up underneath here. So you can bring a histogram up on the top corner. If you want to go back, you can do that. So when you go down to edit, you can see all the different films, and it's the same thing as on Lightroom or in Premiere. You got almost all the same. It's maybe a little bit less. We could do Kodak Gold 200, pop that up, which is pretty sweet. And you can zoom in on the photo and see what's going on. And once you do that, you're done with the film. You can go to developer, change that. You got compression, expand, print, color head, film grain, halation, bloom, vignette. I can't stress this enough, guys. Like, to have the bloom and the halation built in to the software is just so cool. Because I don't know anywhere else where you can achieve something like this. I mean, if you zoom in up top here, you can see the halation coming through on that light post, which is pretty sweet. And if you want to deselect something, right, so you have these little dots down at the bottom of the screen. If you want to deselect anything, you click it, just click it again, and it's going to turn it off. So click it again, turn it off, boom. You'll see those blue dots on the right-hand corner going away. So right now we just have halation, bloom, and the vignette. And you can play around with that. You know? Once you're done, you just click that. And obviously, you would have to purchase it to be able to upload your files or your photos to your camera roll, or your files on your phone. We could play around with another one, so let's go click another image here. Let's do this one from the latest POV. So obviously there's a watermark there that won't be there once you purchase it, and play around with their settings, and once you export it, it won't be there. So let's go to films. Let's do black and white. X-Pan looks pretty sweet. Let's do Ilford 400 HP plus. Alright, we click that. Compression, expand, print. Print we're not going to really worry about. Color head, change some tones in there if you'd like. You can do the red, bring it down to blue. I like the red. Bring a little bit of green in there. Just a little bit. Bring that down. You got your halation, you can amplify, source limiter. Scroll down, you got all the same settings that you did in Lightroom and for Premiere, which is pretty sweet. And then bloom, you can amplify, bring the highlights, and you can see up there by your head where that sign is. I mean, they did a really good job with all of this. So since all the stuff in Lightroom is kind of similar to the app, just, you know, a phone mobile version, I'm not going to go in as much depth with that. So to wrap up the video, guys, Dehancer, I mean, they have some really good products. Is it worth it? I would say that it is worth it if you're looking for that kind of style and look. If you're in that niche of film, if you really like your different film stocks, you shoot film and you want to do some YouTube videos that are about film, you can achieve some really cool stuff to emulate what your film looks like in your videos, which is awesome. if you don't have any mist filters, or you want to play around with halation and stuff like that, you can achieve that without buying any mist filters. Yes, this is a little bit more expensive than a mist filter, but it comes with way more things than a mist filter. Alright, a mist filter you screw on and it does one thing, and one thing only. This has a lot of different options that also includes that bloom, which would be like having a digital mist filter that you can just put right onto your images. I believe that let me stop my screen recording on here. So, I believe that is definitely worth it if you're looking for this certain type of style. Would I use it all the time? I don't think I would, just because I have my Lightroom setting presets and I have that developed style that I've been growing over the years. But would I use it every so often to try to emulate some film stocks? Absolutely. Would I use it for some film POVs? Yeah, I think I would, especially with Premiere. I mean, there's some really cool stuff that you can do. I know I didn't get into the Premiere as much just because I was having some buffering issues and stuff like that, but they did an excellent job with their product, and I think if you guys want to check it out, you can go to their website and see what they have to offer. If you want to do a trial and check it out, they have monthly, 3 months, 6 months. If you want to get it for a year, you can. You could even just buy it outright and you have it forever, which is pretty awesome. So, once again, I just want to shout out Dehancer for reaching out to me and allowing me to just test out their products, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. And obviously this isn't paid or anything, but I think it's cool that they gave me the opportunity to try something new and share it with you guys. On that note, if you guys want to check out any of my presets, the link will be in the bio. You can go to my website and check that out. Please look at some of my later videos that I just posted recently. I got some cool POVs that were in Soho. I got some editing videos to do with my presets. I got another video that I took in Chinatown like a month back, a little over a month now, which I got some awesome shots. Probably some of the best shots I've taken so far in 2023. So once again, guys, thank you for clicking the video, hopping on, checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little bit of some information, some new products out there that maybe you'd be interested in. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So like, subscribe, try to help out the channel. I'm trying to reach 5,000. I think I might do a giveaway at 5,000. Maybe do like a hard drive, some SD cards, or maybe a filter or something like that. If you guys have any ideas on maybe what you'd like to see me give away, that's not out of reason, obviously, just comment below. So thank you again for all the support, guys. I hope you have a good one. Peace out, and see you guys next time.